Fame comes quicker than money does. What's up, you guys? Sage here. Uh, Owamhoi. 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 If you Google my name right now, what will come up is that I'm CEO founder of Sage Consultation. Helping South African businesses increase their marketing and sales revenue. I did not pay for this to be up there in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the way that I find out is that my little brother comes in excited. I'm busy cooking. Literally yesterday, my brother comes in elated. Putty, Google knows you. What? What are you like? What are you on about? And he's like, yeah, I literally just Googled your name and this came up. And literally word for word was Oamui, CEO founder of Sage Consultation, marketing and sales, whatever. And I'm like, what? All right, cool. Oh, and it also said something like, he has a strong online presence, wada. And obviously, with the AI aid to Meta and Google these days, I bet you it's much easier to pop up in that manner than it has been in the last, ever. It's the easiest ever that it's been to pop up in that manner. But I did pop up in that manner, and so I look at that and I go, well, let me actually look up people that I know that I think are more popular than me, by their first names, like just their name, surname, because it didn't even mention anything about YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, because I go under just that Sage on that, and I've drawn over 1 million in the past year, in terms of views with just those two platforms. It didn't even have a word to mention about those two platforms, which I found interesting. It mentioned a credit, a lyric credit, because I helped a friend of mine, um, on the production and composition of a song. And even that was on Genius. If you go on Genius and you type in Omwe, you'll see that I'm credited as a writer in a song. So it mentions that. It mentions Instagram. It mentions TikTok, linked, not TikTok, it mentions X, mentions LinkedIn. And so I found that interesting as well. I'm like, wow, so nothing to do with, the face and that being out there, and how hard I have, worked to put that out there. Because obviously then you could tie it to me, right? And say, okay, no, this guy just does so much volume that he just couldn't be ignored. But that isn't even the case, because it isn't even making the link now between that personality and my actual name and surname. Interesting. But then it credits me as the CEO founder of Sage Consultation. Looked up again a couple other people that I know are, prominent figures, like people that I know of that were currently playing really good rugby, for example, or just more popular than me by, by every metric possible. And within that, fame comes quicker than money does. It was one of the first things that popped into my head, because I'm now someone who is getting, credited, established, as a player in this game, and really leveraging and putting myself in a position where I have some serious credibility behind me, building and establishing a network, etc. And it's so interesting to me that there isn't an equal opposite effect in terms of fiscally, financially. Now, by that I mean that right there, that Google search gives me a lot more great. Yo, Google's gassing me up. They said I have a strong online presence, bro, and then don't even mention my YouTube. They just talk about like my X, my Instagram, my strong online presence. Jeez, the freaking CEO founder. I'm like, yeah, this thing's making me sound like I'm balling out here, bro, and I'm just barely, trying to do my little thing. But to be fair to this game, and I don't want to tell a lie, I have been able to almost at will, um, draw money from the game, in order to, do the little things that I want to do here and there, to be able to feed my brothers, in terms of put other people on, and put them in positions, and that's ultimately what, I pride myself in doing, is being able to use the leverage that I have and the position that I have to put my other skilled people whose skills that I can apply into whatever I have going on, I'm able to put those people on, and make that happen for them more than for myself. And so that's something I enjoy doing very much. So I'm not gonna say I haven't eaten from this game because that just won't be true. I have. I really, really have. However, when I say fame comes quicker than money does, I mean in terms of this, in terms of the TikTok, I'm right now in a position. I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. In terms of just me thinking about this and actually making this video, because I'm now at a point where I went to, for example, last week, a rugby game, my old high school. I've been out of high school for 3 years, my third year now out of high school. We've worked at least one of them. Yeah, I've worked for the 2 years, I'd say. And then in the latter half of last year is when I really started, going like ham into myself and just doubling down on me. Not being a part of the club or playing a sport, doing this and that. Just doubling down on just me, as a brand, as a human being, and yeah, just putting all my confidence, all my chips into, pouring into me, reinvesting in me, and so that I'm able to just be and do a lot more for the people around me than for the God I serve. And so, yeah, that's yeah, man, yeah, that's been working fantastically, honestly. And I suppose, well, not even suppose, that's obviously what I can accredit this to. And the interesting thing about it is that I literally had nothing to do with it. That's what fascinated me. It's not that I had nothing to do with it, but the fact that it didn't mention YouTube or TikTok to me makes me realize that I had nothing to do with my name being able to pop up in that way. Nothing to do with it. Again, a lot of people more popular than us. So it's just something out there, right, in the universe, something out there in the world, something that is just undeniable, that is that you just can't fight, you know? Um, and yeah, apparently you believe in me, and I thank you for it. Apparently you believe in me, and I thank you for it. So yeah, fame does come quicker than money does, in a real way. But with that, I think a big thing that is my approach still is being in a season of learning and not a season of earning right now. Stay small enough, long enough, and you'll be big enough soon enough. Stay down till you come up. You know. Yeah, I've been sticking to those theories, man. I really, really have. I've been trying my best to do so. Not really pull my cards too early. Not lose track, lose focus of what, like, the other things that I have going on, because I have other things that are just bubbling underneath the surface right now, and again, they're not even a part of any of this. So I got the social media going, and that's my personal brand. That has nothing to do with the company. You know what I'm saying? The company's doing its thing, the personal brand's doing its thing, the education on its own side is doing its own thing, and then the network, the personal network that I'm building from some combination of these things is like, those are each individual things, and they're coming up simultaneously, and it's just been incredible. And then now this thing is happening here on this side, which is it's just an interesting alternative storyline, or like, what sort of tracking is going on? What's going on that side? What's being watched? What's being noticed? What's being purported? What's being put out there? What is that narrative, that storyline? Where are they getting that from? If they don't have a sort of, you can kind of deduce that, okay, the LinkedIn maybe. I don't know, but we are getting to a point about the fame coming quicker than the money does, where being recognized is something it's I talked about it happening quite recently, a couple of videos back, that, okay, I'm on campus, and then bumped into this guy. Well, like I said, I was at the game. Literally, a younger kid bumps up to me, not as young as my little brother. So my little brother's friends, you give that one up because you're like, maybe they just heard of me through my little brother, and then or they just see you through whatever you, but you just chuck that. You're like, whatever. I'm cool to the little kids, whatever, right? I bump into people on campus. I'm like, all right, I'm just around. I'm a pretty popular guy on campus. Cool. I'm hearing stories from my mom about people that she goes to work with, talking about some. Oh yeah, no, I love his morning devotions. Like I follow him. I would, okay. Um, like I said, walking in my old school, not being recognized for the rugby that I played, or for the cheering, this, that, third. Nah, young kids just being like, yo, this age on some. Like, okay, so now we're touching these young and older males, these young and older demographics, and it's just such an interesting storyline. Um, yeah, that we're watching unfold right now. And I was just thinking that to sum this all up, what I'm putting out now is not a to scare you away. Nah, don't do it. Don't put yourself out there. Don't, you know. Actually, quite the opposite, man. Is yes, fame will come quicker than money, but I feel that it's supposed to happen that way. First, they're going to know who you are. And if you consistently let them know who you are and continue to be about what you're about, then they will develop a trust. As soon as they know who you are and they've developed a trust with you, then you can begin to integrate them into other things that you may have going on, or you find ways to vertically integrate. You find ways to uh, be a part of what they are, be a part of their daily lives, improve their daily lives, and this may be through, podcasting is one thing. Merch is another way of being a part of their daily lives. If you were to write a book, that would be one way to get into their daily life. But just some ways, shapes and forms. Courses are obviously janky, and you don't want to do that because you don't want to taint your name in any way, shape, or form. Reputation is everything. You need to protect it with your life because it is your life. It's really, really one of those things. But you want to put yourself in a position where you are out there, you are prominent, and you are trustworthy. A brand is a promise well kept. You know, a great brand is a promise kept very well. And so whenever you do put yourself out there, know that you being out there will happen way quicker than there are any endorsements. And I actually saw something earlier today that was talking a guy talking about a similar thing that was, people see you on billboards, and they think, oh, it's worth 1 million, and you just got paid 3,000 for that thing, for that deal, because you're taking this nonsense deal just to get your name out there, because maybe the next deal, maybe the next deal, maybe the next deal. And something that I want to say as well, if you've made it this far, you're an absolute legend. Because I haven't really been the most structured person the way that I've been delivering this, but I just want to give it to you as authentically and as raw as possible, as real as possible. Um, so one thing about it is you're gonna go out there. He was talking about those shitty deals, etc. Something looks like you got paid 1 million for. You're on billboards, you're on TV, you're on this, you're on that, you're on the radio, and people think, "Wow, you're on now. You've made it." Well, before you actually make it and make that real money, you are gonna be put out there because you are gonna take those deals and put yourself in the right positions in order to get the leverage to use in securing the larger deals. Um, and another thing that I wanted to talk about as a pivot from that, from those, taking those city deals, is you're going to come across things. You're going to come across people that are going to recognize you, that are going to see you, but are not going to be able to give you the leverage, are not going to be able to capitalize on your ability and also give you a piece of the upside. And people are not going to, not every single person you talk to is going to be able to come through on their promises. But what I will give you is this, is if you are consistently being, before any of this happened, consistently recognized for a certain type of work ethic, a certain type of spirit, a certain type of character, consistently given opportunities, even though the opportunities may or may not fall through, whatever, being recognized back to back to back, as in, yo, bro, you're gonna go far, you're gonna do this, you're great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're great, you're coming through. And these are people who are not in any way, shape, or form below you or need to say this in order to get some sort of positive, um, how can I say it? They don't want you to look at them in a positive light so that they may get benefits from you. If it's people that are superior to you, that are looking at you and saying, keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, this opportunity, that opportunity, opportunities fall through. But the fact that they thought that, they wanted that, that thing that they see, they may not be able to deliver on those promises, but one day someone will. At some point, something is going to have to give, something's going to have to pop, your name's going to have to show up. The views are going to have to cross the millions. Whether that's total views, eventually that's going to be monthly views, eventually that's going to be weekly views. If you keep improving and if you keep doing it and you keep learning from your doing and improving, eventually the quality of the opportunities is going to increase, and they're still going to fall through. They're still not going to happen, but you're still going to keep grinding, keep improving, keep doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll realize your dream. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Please, if you did enjoy the video, hit that subscribe button. I have been Stage, standing on business. Signing out.